Hi there. Dive into the world of multilingual communication as we unveil the secrets to building a dynamic translator application powered by APIs. Discover how to leverage JavaScript to seamlessly integrate translation services, enabling users to effortlessly bridge language gaps in real time. This is the eighth project on this series of JavaScript API. We aim to post videos every week. Kindly subscribe, like, and share this video with your friends. Let's have a quick demo right here. Here on the screen, we can see the Translator app that contains two select box with languages. All the languages listed here, it was dynamic response from an API. And then below we have a two text area. One is input. This is user editable with text restricted till 5000 characters. And another one is output with disabled. It will display only the results. And then first combo box says autodidact, and then second combo box says Afrikaans. So I will change these things to Hindi. Here I have entered any text. It will automatically calculate the text count and it will be displayed here. Once I entered, and it will automatically detect the language and displayed here. Previously it was autodidact. Once I enter the text in English, it will automatically detect and it will set to English here. Here we have a two icons. The second icon is translate. Once I click translate, it will automatically convert the text to Hindi. I can change to French. I can hit translate. It will translate to French, and I can translate to another language to Tamil. If I hit translate, it will automatically translate. And then here the above button says swap language. Once we click this, it will automatically swap the output to input and input to output, and it will detect the language here. If I change the text to previous one, and if I click somewhere, it will automatically detect and it will set to the language we have entered. And then below we have a copy icon. It will copy the output and it will copy the input here. That's all for the demo. Before beginning this video, I would like to introduce myself as Sharat Chandar K. If you find this tutorial useful, please subscribe to our channel and watch this video to motivate me. Let's level up our tech game together. Here on my desktop, I have already created a project folder name called Translator App. Let me open this into a Visual Studio Code. So I will drag this directory. Visual Studio Code will automatically loads all the files inside it. Inside the directory, I have already created the index.html, style.css, and script.js. In the index.html, I have added the HTML boilerplate with the help of exclamation mark. I have changed the title to Translator App by Sharat Chandar K. And then other two files I have linked here with the help of link with style.css, with the help of script.js. And then below we have another link tag with CDN of font or some icons. This will help us to get the icons from here. Inside the body, I am going to add the container with the help of embed abbreviation dot container. This will help us to create div with class attribute with the value of container. If I hit enter, it will create a div. So inside the container, I am going to add the code with input and output, and then again I will create a div with class value of code for two times. If I hit enter, it will create a two code here. The first code is translate input, second code as translate output. Inside that, I'm going to create one empty div, and then I will add the select option with the ID of select input length. Another div with class value of text area. If I hit enter, it will create a div. Inside that, I am going to create the text area of element with ID of input text. Then I will close that element. Next to that, I am going to add the div with class of characters. So I will add the span tag with the ID of input char. with 0 and then slash 5000. This input char will be automatically changed based on the inputs with this text area. Next div with card footer. If I hit enter, it will automatically create. Inside that, I'm going to add the icon with the help of class font awesome solid with fa copy. This is the copy icon used to copy the input text. I will copy the same elements and I will paste it inside the output also. And then I will change the ID here. Instead of input, I will set to output. This is text area and then this one as output text. We have created translated input and then translated output. Let us see our HTML file in action. For that, in Visual Studio Code, we have a extension called Go Live. In the status bar, once we click this, it will automatically run our server. It will display the output here. This is the select box and this is the text area for input and this is the output. This output text area should be disabled. So for that I will add this text area as disabled with the attribute disabled. I will save. If I go here, now we can able to see the second text area is disabled without refresh. That is how the live server will work. It will automatically detect our changes and refresh the browser. And then in between that, we need to add the icons, right? So I will add one more div with rotate. Inside that, I will add two I tag with class of font awesome solid for two times. And then first icon as fa arrow right, arrow left, and then second icon as fa language. If I save, if I go to the browser, here we can able to see the arrow right and arrow left with translate icon. Now we need to style this. So for that I need to jump to the style.css. I have already added the import URL of font family Poppins with basic styles. This will reset the margin to 0, padding to 0, and then font family as Poppins, and then secondary as sans serif with box sizing border box. We need to add the styles to the body. With the help of element selector body, I will set the background to blue color and then min height to 100 VH display flags. This will help us to set all the elements inside the body set to center. The help of align items to be center, justify content to be center. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can able to see the all the elements into the center of the screen. Now we need to add the styles to the container. So with the help of class selector with dot and then value of container. Again, I will set the background color to white, will set the display to flags. Again, this content to be center of the screen. We'll set the border radius to 5px and then width of 1200px, margin outer spacing to be 1 rem. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can able to see the style here. And then we need to add the styles to the codes with the help of class selector with dot and container and then dot code. This will be flags of 1 padding inner spacing 10px. I will set the border radius to 5px and then border to 1px solid with light gray color margin outer spacing 1 rem. If I save, now we can able to see the code with that border color and then I will add the styles to this select box with the help of element selector name called select. I will set the width of 100 percentage and then height of 45px. Again border radius 5px with same border 1px solid light black color. And then I will remove the outline with the help of outline none. We'll set the font size to 16px. Then we'll set the padding inner spacing to be 10px. If I save, now we can able to see the select box here. The next thing I need to set the styles to that option also with element selector of select and then as I said that is an option. The style is nothing with the inner spacing of padding 10px, outer spacing of margin 10px. Now we can't able to see this because once we bind it dynamically, we can see the styles there. And then next thing I need to add the text area same as this select box. So for that, here we have added the styles to the div because this both thing we need to add into the center. So I will use this text area with dot class selector, and then value of text area will set the position to relative. We'll add the styles to this text area. The element selector of text area will set the width of 100%. I need to remove this resize with that resize none, and then height to 250 px, then padding inner spacing 10 px. Will remove the outline to none. Will set the font size to 18 px. Will set the margin outer spacing 10 px to top and bottom, and then right and left to 0. Will set the border 1 px solid with a light black color. If I save, now we can able to see the text area, and I need to add the border radius to 5 px because here it is not curved. So I will set these things to 5 px. If I save, now we can able to see the 5 px here. For the output, this is not required. So I will go here. I will remove the characters from here. If I save, it is went, and here I can able to type. We can able to see the scroll bar. Now the scroll bar is not required. So I will remove this with the help of text area with WebKit. We have a WebKit scroll bar. Will set the display to none. If I save, if I go and add some text, now we can't able to see the scroll bar, but the scroll is happened. And then we need to set this character below to the text area, right? So for this, we have added the characters div here. I will copy this class with the help of class selector dot. I will set the position to absolute, and then we'll set the bottom minus 15 px. We'll set the right to 0, padding inner spacing 10 px, and then reduce the font size to 12 px. If I save, it will set to the below to the text area. And then next thing, we need to add the styles to this icons, right? We need to set these icons into the center of this to text area. So again, for this, we have a rotate of div. I will set the class selector of rotate. Will set the display to flux again, and then align items to be center, and then justify content should be spaced evenly. If I save, we can able to see the content. It will be center of the screen. And then now the icon is row wise. We need to set to column wise. So how we can do that with the help of flux direction to column. If I save, it will set to column wise, and it will get the space evenly to that icons. And then we need to add the styles to that icon. So with same rotate, so with the help of eye, this will set the styles to both eyes. I will set the background to blue color, and then padding inner spacing 1 rem, and then I will set the border radius to 50 percentage. So this will set to as round. So if I save, now we can able to see that. I will set the cursor to pointer. We need to add the transition. Once we click this should be rotate and do the animation for that. So for that, I will set the transition of all 0.3 second. Will add the transform to rotate 0 degree. If I save, nothing will happen. We can able to see the cursor here, and then I need to set these styles to the code footer also. For that, the footer, we have created a separate div with code footer. I will add the styles to this div with code footer, padding of top and bottom to 0, and then right and left to 10 px. We need to set this into the center of the div with the help of display flux again, align items to be center, and then justify content to be center also. If I save, we can able to see the icons into the center of the screen, and then I will set the styles to this eye also with the help of code footer. With I will set the font size to 22 px, color as same blue color to set to uniform, and then cursor to pointer. If I save, now we can able to see this. The same thing, if it is visible on the mobile, how it will be displayed. So I will reduce the screen. The entire text we can't able to see, right? So once it is mobile, we need to shift the input as top and then output as below. How we can do that? With the help of media query. So at media, screen size of max width 800 px will set the container. Right now the container direction is row. With the help of this display flux, we need to set this flux direction to column. If I change to flux direction to column, if I save, now we can see this. How simple is this, right? If I maximize the screen, we can able to see the style changes. If I reduce to smaller device, it will be on the top and bottom. Whenever it is in the mobile device, the arrow mark should be top and bottom, right? So for that, with the help of dot rotate, and we need to set this degree of 270 degree. How we can set to that particular icon, because we don't have any class here for this icon, only the font awesome this one. Instead of that, we can find the first child, else we can use this class 2. So instead of this, I can go here and I can check the I of nth child of 1, and then I will set the transform to rotate as I said 90 degree. If I save, now we can able to see this. If I maximize, we can able to see the rotation of the icon to top and bottom and then right and left. How simple is this, right? Now we need to get the dynamic values and then we need to attach to here. How we can do that? With the help of JavaScript. So for that, I need to jump to the script.js. Here first we need to declare the declaration. With the help of declarations, we can do that. So as I said, we can do the declaration with the help of const. I will declare the declaration of this combo box with that ID of selected input lang, and then I will use the document object represent your web page. If you want to access any element in an HTML page, you always start with accessing the document with dot get element by ID. The easiest way to find an HTML element by an ID. I will add the ID here, and then next to this I will add the console.log to check the document. If I save, if I go to the browser, if I insert element, here we can able to see the select box with entire element. It is displayed here. That is how the DOM tree will work. So I will declare all of the declarations here. Select box as output lang, and then input text as this text area, and then output text as output text, and then second one, and then input carries these characters. So if you want, you can pause the video and you can declare the declaration by your own. And now we need to get the details, right? How we can get that? So first thing, we need to get all the languages, and here based on that typing we need to deduct, and then once we hit translate, it will translate to that particular language selected by the output, right? How we can achieve that? With the help of API. That API is translate plus API. We have many translator provider, but this translator plus API will provide the languages and then deduct languages. So this is the translate plus API from an rapid API. So here this is a post request. Here we have all the request. We can go and see for fetch of JavaScript. So once we sign in, we'll get that rapid key, and then this is what the host of rapid plus API. This is the text, and it will return the response as example response for that translated one to NL. And then here this is the deduct language. So based on the type, it will automatically deduct the language and it will return the response of which the language is. Here we'll get all the supported languages from an API. This is the one major advantage of using this translate API. So many projects, they are using the array of languages and directly they are looping and listed into the project. Instead of that, I have researched more and I will get this translate plus API. In the single API will get the all provision like translate, deduct and support languages. This is the main reason why I used to translate plus, but this is not an free API. We can get an premium for 500 requests. So as of now, for the testing purpose, we can use for 500 requests. So again, I will jump to the code. As I said, these are the keys we need to use. So I will create one more const with global declaration of API URL. I will set empty now, and then API key, and then API host, and then headers. equal to, we'll set the content type to application slash JSON. These are the headers we are going to pass into that particular request. So I have created as a separate global variable so we can use this header to all the three APIs. So instead of having the separate headers, I will create as one reusable headers. It will help us to call in all the three APIs. We can copy this. I will paste here. Instead of this, I will set to API key, and then instead of this, I will set to API host. Now I need to pass the values. So this is what the translate API plus.com. So I will use this as a API URL, and then this is what the API host is. Once we sign in, and we'll get that API key. So I have already signed in for myself. I have the API key and I will paste it here. Once we sign up, you will also get that API key free for 500 requests. And then with the help of this, we'll get the response from an supported language. First, we'll get all the supported languages and we'll set to this select box, right? So for this, I will create a function with function name of get all languages list. So inside that I need to create the request of get. So I will create const options equal to, we need to pass the method as get to receive this API. So here we can able to see this is a get and this is a post. So I will mention this as a get to get all the selected languages, and then header as headers. This is what the headers we have already mentioned above. So inside this header, API key and then API host is already present. This will access from an global headers. And then I will add the try catch. So if any of the error, it will capture inside this block. So for that, I will set the catch of error, and then I will set the console.log to see the errors once it's present. And then inside the try, I will add the fetch. With the help of fetch, we'll get that API request. So for that, we need to pass two items. So one is URL and then another one is request in it. For the URL, we have already added the API URL, and then second one as request in it. For now, we have a request in it as an options. For these options, we have already created this method of get. I will add the then. This will get the response, and then I need to pass this response as a JSON to be readable, and then second then as data. This is the data we'll get from an API as an response. So I will do a console.log to see the data. So if I save, if I go to the browser, if I go to the Translator app, so now the console is empty because we have created the function, we have not yet initialized it. So I will initialize it on top of this function. If I save, if I go to the browser, here we can able to see the supported languages. So inside that, the data, whatever we have there, the console, the supported language, we can see all the languages with key value pairs. This is the value and this is the key we need to pass to translate the text. This is what the main reason I am using the translate plus API instead of creating the arrays in an same project. So I need to append this into here, right? So how we can do that? So here inside this, we have get this as a data. We can see this into the network tab. The network tab, if I go to this translate plus rapid API, so here we can able to see the headers, and here we can see the preview of that response. In that header, we have passed that URL and then method, and in the response we can get that list of object written from an API. How simple is this, right? With the help of this object, we need to loop through and we need to append it to here. So for that, inside that then response, I will create a object. As I said, this is an object. We need to iterate with the entities of data dot supported languages. So this is what the supported languages of the key. Inside the supported languages, we have another object, right? We need to loop through that. So data dot supported languages dot for each. And then we need to get this as a key value pair of array. So I will add the key and then value with that supported language, and then I will do the console.log to segregate this key and value, in the console. If I save, if I go to the browser, here we'll get the 200. If I go to the console, you can able to see all the key value pair, right? How simple is this, right? Once we received, we need to append to the select box. So for that select box, we need to create one declaration here with let option one equal to document dot create element. So this will create the element of option. In the index.html, in the select box, we don't have any options. We need to create that, then only we need to append to that select. We need to create two separate options because we have a two select box. I will mention option 1 and option 2. Option 1 dot value equal to, as I said, this is a value. Option 1 dot text equal to key. So if I go to the browser, this is the value and this is the key. So this should be set to the option. We need to append to that selected language, right? So for that, we have already created two declaration. One is for input and I can append to this of option one, and I will copy the same and I will paste it for this option 2 also. And then instead of input, this should be output lang. It will create the object and this will append to here and this will destroy from here. So only I have created this as a second let, and again it will create and it will set this and it will set to this particular output lang. So if I save, if I go to the browser, here we can able to see the select box option to this two different select box. But here for the second one, there is no auto deduct, right? We need to select any of the language and then translate. So for the second one, we need to remove this auto deduct. So here I will do if value not equal to auto, because for this auto we have the key of. So I will go on insert for this option the value of auto. If it is auto, I will not set to that second option. If I save, if I go to the browser, now we can able to see the auto deduct for this and then Afrikaans for the output. How simple is this, right? Now we have binded the select box. Next thing, once we type the values here, it will automatically deduct the language and this should be set the value here, and then text also should be changed. So we can do that. I will comment this for now because we have a 500 request only. So I will add the key up event to find and calculate the entered text here. So for that, input text dot add event listener of key up of function e. This will get entire object of that key up, and then inside that I will add the console dot log of e. What is this e? If I go and type something, the console dot will get that keyboard event, and then e dot target dot value. This will get the selected values from an text box. How simple is this, right? So based on this, we can get the length and this will set to restrict. So here if e dot text dot value dot length greater than 5000, and then I will restrict with input text dot value equal to input text dot value. We need to slice and restrict till 5000, right? So I will use the slice 0 to 5000. If I copy this text, if I go on type, it will adding, but we need to add the count of this also. So for that, we have already declared the declaration of input char dot inner text equal to, I will set this length value here. I will copy and paste here. If I save, I will copy this again and I will paste. You can able to see the 140. I will copy till 5000. It will be calculated. See, till 5000 just calculated. If I enter something, it will be sliced to 5000. That is how this will work. So if you want more characters, you can change this 5000 to your expectation. For that, you can keep this as a global variable and we can slice as per that. Once we type text here, this should be detect the language and set to be here, right? So for that, again one more blur event we need to add to that input area. So with the help of input text dot add event listener of, as I said, we need to add the blur because we have a only 500 request. If I type any of the characters, the entire 500 request, it will be gone in one particular session. So instead of that, I will use the blur to find only that particular session. If I added some text and if I went down from here, it will active. That is what the blur will do. So I will show you with the help of of function, and I will add the console.log of e dot target dot value. If I save, if I go to the browser, if I type something, the console will be empty. If I click somewhere, the blur is happened to that element, so we can get the values to this. So for that request, I have did this. If you have a premium key, if you type based on that, it will be detect and it will set the language here. So inside that, we can do that functionality. So if e dot language dot value dot length greater than 0 and e dot target dot value not equal to null, then only this function should be fire. So how we can do that detect? So for that detect, I will go to the API. For the supported language, we have a get with that direct URL, right? The supported text is different, so directly we can use this. For the post of detect language, this should be different with additional text. We need to append this URL with the method headers and body too. So how we can do that? So for this URL, we have already added till here. So I can show here, I will add it till here and we need to append the language direct to this. And I will go here and I will copy this option and I will paste it inside this add event listener. Instead of get, this should be post and then header, and we need to pass the body also, right? With body, we need to pass this body element with JSON stringify. JSON stringify. So here the object of text, we need to pass this text with the value of e dot target dot value, and then we need to call the fetch again. So I will copy this try catch here. So I will paste it next to the const, and then inside this object I will remove this. Now we can able to see the API URL and then options also. And then inside the response, I will check what is returning. If I save, if I go to the browser, if I type text, if I hit blur, now we'll get that error message. The error message is endpoint does not exist. As I said, this is a get supported language. This will support that URL. We need to add the different URL for that language detect. So for this endpoint of post detect language, we need to add this URL. How we can do that? So here we have already added this API URL. I will add the plus with string concatenation of language detect. So here we have already added the global declaration with that API URL till this rapid URI slash. This will get and then we'll add the language detect here. This will automatically attach this URL and it will pass to the fetch. How simple is this, right? If I save, if I go to the browser, I will type test. If I do a blur of event, we'll get that language detection here. So now we'll get that language as English. I will type that in the word of test, and then if I click somewhere and we'll get the response, and here we can see the language of HI as Hindi. So once we receive this, we need to set the response to that particular select box, right? So inside the response, with the help of data, we can directly set that select input lang dot value equal to, we'll get the data dot language deduction. Inside that object, we'll get that language. So if I do a console.log for this, I will enable this select of all language. If I save, if I go to the browser, we'll get that autodidact. Instead of autodidact, I will add the text as hi, hello. If I hit the blur, we can get that English and it will be automatically set on the top of English. How simple is this, right? Once we add this, once we hit translate, this should be translate to this output language, right? So for that, we have another API called translate, and we need to pass the text and then what is this source language we are passing, what the language we need to translate of target, that is an output. So we need to implement this. So for that I will create one more function name called translate text, and then inside that, as I mentioned, I need to create this with the help of same const. So I will copy this function above and I will paste it inside here, and here we have already added the headers. Inside the body, as I said, we need to add the text as well as source and then target also. I will copy here and I will paste it, and then where we can get the text, we can get the text of input text dot value, and then we'll get the source from selected input lang dot value, and then target as selected output lang dot value. And then we need to change the API URL. Instead of language detect, we need to use that translate here. So I will change the concatenation of translate here. I will remove this, and then I will set the console.log as data. I need to copy this translate text. I need to call this while on click on this translate icon, right? So for that I will add the on click of translate icon function with initialization, and then I will go and save the script.js, and then I will jump to the browser. I will add the text, hi hello, this is Sharath, and now the language is autodidact. If I fire this event, it will automatically pick that selected language of English. If I do a translate click here, we'll get the translation details here. So now this is AF of Afrikaans. Instead of this, I will change to Hindi. Again, I will hit translate. We'll get the two different response. One is for Afrikaans and then second one is for Hindi. This is the translation word from an translation text. We need to display this translation text to that output, right? So for that, here inside the response I will add the output text dot value equal to data dot translations dot translation. This is what the value written from the response, right? So I will do here, if I save, if I go to the browser, if I hit refresh, I said please subscribe to my channel. If I fire this event, it will detect and it will set to English. I need to convert this to French. If I hit translate, here we can able to see the translation of French, and then I will change these things to Hindi. If I hit translate, it will translate, and then I will change to Kannada. It will change to Kannada, and then I will change to Tamil also. It translate. We can get the translation text here. The pending thing is we need to swap the languages and copy button. So for that I will go to the script.js. So I will command this for now, and then I will add two more function. First function as swap language. I will pause that element here, because while clicking this we need to rotate the icon also, as I said. So we need to use that. I will create let current text equal to input text dot value, and then let swap text equal to output text dot value. The same as I will create let current lang equal to select input lang dot value, let swap lang equal to selected output lang dot value. And then we need to set this to that input text dot value equal to swap lang, because this swap lang to be set to this and this to set to this. And then output text dot value equal to current text. Then same thing, selected input lang dot value equal to swap lang, selected output lang equal to current lang. So I will save. I will go to the browser. Now we can see that. So I will test with this values here. With that input value I will add the test. If I hit, it is not firing because we need to initialize it. So I will command this for now. I will copy this swap language. I will go here in the index.html, on click of swap language, and I need to pause this. This keyword will refer this entire element. With the help of this, we need to add the styles to this. I will jump to the script.js and I will add the console.log of element to check that what is this. I will go here and I will add the text, and then I will hit swap. Now we can able to see the text from here. It is moved to here, and then if I swap again, here it is empty because this input text as empty. So I will add test and I will hit swap. It is going there, and we can get that entire element from here. So we need to add the styles to that. Element dot class list dot toggle of rotate icon. I will copy this and I will jump to the style.css. In the style.css, I will add the rotate icon style to this with the transform of rotate to 180 degree. And then we need to set this rotate and then rotate icon. If I click, now we can able to see the animation to that rotate icon. How simple is this, right? If I go to the mobile view, Now if I click, it is not happening. We need to add the styles to that also. So for that, I will add the styles to this with same rotate into that media query. Instead of 180, I will set to 270 degree. If I save, if I go and click, it's not happening because this class values is already set to this. So we need to add the important to add this important of that style. I will add the important keyword here. If I save, if I go to the browser, if I click, now we can see the styles to here. This is how the responsive. I will type test and then I will hit. It will automatically jump to here. And then again, I will add test 1 to 3. If I hit this test 1 to 3 and here it is test 3 to 1. If I hit, it will be transfer, but here it is null. Instead of this swap text, I have added the swap lang. So I will change to swap text here. I will go to the browser. I will add the test and I will hit swap. This went here. Now I will add test 1 to 3. If I hit, it will be swapping. How simple is this, right? The next thing I need to add the copy code. I need to create one more function of copy language of I will post the ID here because here we have a two icons. We can't able to create two different function and two different click. We need to do the minimal code change to achieve that. So I will add the let copy text equal to id dot value, and then this id dot value need to set to navigator dot clipboard dot write text of copy text. Where should we call this? So I will copy this and I will jump to the index.html. Here I will add the on click of that copy language and then id of output text. I will copy this and I will go to that input area. I will paste it here instead of output. I will copy this and I will paste it for input text. If I save, if I go here, I will add the test 1 to 3 and I will swap and then I will add here Sharat Chandar. So it will count the character also. If I hit copy, it will copy it. If I go and paste here, we can see the text. And then if I hit on copy and if I go here, if I paste, we'll get that test 1 to 3. How simple is this, right? We need to add the minimal code change to achieve this for multiple things. So if we add two functions with two IDs, it will grow as anything. So instead of that, we can do the minimal change here. Now I will go and enable the fetch of values from here as well as the get all languages list also. If I save, if I go to the browser, we'll get the autodidact and then I will set to Hindi and I will add the text. Hi, hello, welcome to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. And I will hit the function of this blur. It will automatically detect the language of English and this will set here and I will hit translate, will get the translation response from the given text and I can able to swap. It will automatically detect the language also and here I can able to swap again and instead of Hindi I will go and change to Kannada and I will hit translate. It will convert to Kannada and I will change to Telugu and I will hit translate, will get that and I will change to Tamil, will get that. Finally, we have completed this translator app with API using HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I hope this video will be helpful for you. Please like and share this video and also subscribe to my channel Sarat Chandar K to watch more videos like this one. If you are interested in JavaScript projects like this, I have created and added a playlist link in the description. Please do check it out. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep coding and keep learning. See you in the next video. Happy coding. Bye for now. Have a nice day.